In this video, we'll show how you can use a property grid as the detail view for a list control. So we'll start out here, we'll create a new component and we'll add a list control that is based on some SQL data. So we'll go here to our list control. And we'll say that this is list 1. And then we'll go to the list over here and we'll say it's SQL data. We'll choose Northwind, customers. And I'll choose some fields from the customer table. And next we want to do is put a property grid on the components. I'll go here and I'll say add control, property grid. I'll just call this PG1. And then I'll go into the property grid builder here and I'll say that this property grid is based on a list. The list is list 1. And I can go here and customize the properties in this property grid, which I'll do a little later. So right now I'll just leave these all as no property sets. So then I'll go back to my list over here and I'll specify that this list has a detail view and that the detail view is based on a I'll go here and I'll go to the pick list here and I'll say it's based on a property grid. There's the name of the property grid that I want to use. And I can specify that the property grid is either predefined, which means I've built it already, or it can also be basically auto-generated based on the data in the list. So I'll just choose predefined right now. So we'll go ahead and we'll save this as list with property grid. And you'll see that basically now when I run the component, if I click on a row in the list, the property grid will get populated. So there's my property grid, and it's basically reflecting the data in the current row in the list. But at this point, I don't have any option to save changes back to the list. So I'm going to go back to the list here. First of all, I'm going to make this property grid a little bit bigger. I'll say 50%. And then I'll go here under the list and I'll say add controls. And I'll say detail view buttons. And I'll say list 1. And then I'll say select the most common buttons over there. And then I'm going to just go here and put in a break after the synchronize button. So let's go take a look at this now. So I'll go to there and the city says beta. I'm going to go change this now to Bonn, hit the save button. So we'll see that the list has got, the row has gone dirty over here. And now if I press the synchronize button, the data will be written back to the database. So what we have right now is we have a property grid that is basically using text areas, text boxes for all of the controls. But what I'd like to do is make Germany a pick list and then make city another pick list that only displays the fields in the selected country. So we'll do that in the next video. So we're continuing with our video now. We're going to make the country field and the city field into pick lists. So the first thing we want to do is we want to go into the prop grid over here and go to properties. And we want to make sure that we prompt for the country field before we do the city field. So we'll go to the country field and we'll move that up over there. Then we'll go to the control type here and we'll say that it's a combo box, and we'll say that it's based on dynamic data, and we'll say that it's based on the Northwinds database, And then we'll go here and we'll choose the customers table, and we'll choose the country field. So let's just check it out now. So we have not yet defined a pick list for the city field, but we have now for the country field. So if we go now and run this, what we'll see is that when we click on the first row here, we have a pick list for countries. So there we can go now, and there's our pick list for countries. And if we make a save, we've changed the value. So now we'd like to make a pick list for the city field that only shows the cities in the selected country. So we'll go back to our property grid over here, and we'll go to field properties. So then we'll go to the city field, and we'll make this also into a combo box, and we'll say again that it's dynamic, and we'll go here and we'll choose this North Winds database, and we'll go here and we'll choose the customer table, and we want to display the city field. But in order to filter on the selected value in the country field, we need to also make sure that this pick list contains the country data. So we'll go to the additional fields to retrieve here, and we'll choose country. So now that we've retrieved the country field, we can reference country in the filter. So now let's go here and define a client-side filter. And what we want to do is we're going to just pick this example here. So we'll go Control-C. And so what this does is when we open up the pick list, we loop through all the data in the pick list. So initially the data in the pick list is all of the cities. And we're saying that if the country property in that pick list matches the value that is in the country field that was previously selected, and that value can be referenced by saying this.data.v.country. And so now we're saying that if it matches, then return true, otherwise return false. So let's go ahead now and try this out. So we'll go to the country field here, change it from Germany to France, and then we'll go to the city field. Oops, I must have done something wrong here, so let's go fix that. So now continuing with our list with the prop grid. So we're going to go now to this row here, change the country from Belgium to say Canada, and then open up the pick list for city, and we see the cities in Canada. So if we go now and change this to say the USA, and then open up the pick list, we see the cities in the USA. So what we've done in this video is show how the prop grid can be configured to use pick lists for the fields, and how those pick lists can be dynamically filtered. In the next video, we're going to move this prop grid into a flyout panel that gets displayed when the user clicks on a row. In previous videos, we've shown how you can basically make a property grid into the detail view of a list control, and furthermore how you can make the pick lists for the city field here dynamic, so that it only shows the cities for the currently selected country. But what we'd like to do in this video is move this property grid into a flyout panel that displays when you click on a row in the list. So I'm going to go here now back to my list, and then go to these controls here, and then wrap them in a window. So I'll go to containers, and then I'll go to window container. And then I'm going to go here and set the properties of my window to be not a modal pop-up, but a panel window. And I'll set the size to be, say, 6 inches. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this property grid here and set the width to 100%. And then to get the code so that I can put so that I can open the window when the user double clicks on a row in the list. I'm going to go here and steal some code from this button. So I'll go here and I'll add a button. And I'll go to this button and I'll say window. So I will go here and say show a container window, and the container is window 1. And then I'm going to just go and steal the code for closing the window. So I'll just go here and add another control button, and I'll go here and I'll say for this code I'm going to use Action JavaScript, and I'll say window, and then I'm looking for hide close a container window. That's what I want over there. And then I want window number 1. So now if we go look at the code here, the code to hide the window is this. I'll just copy that to the clipboard. And the code to show a window is that. So I'll just go there and paste those two commands over there, copy that to the clipboard, and now I'm going to go delete these 2 buttons. I don't really need them. And then I'm going to go to the list over here, and I'm going to go to list events, and I'll go to the double tap, the double click on the row. Okay, so this is the double click. So I'll go there and I'll paste this in over there. So we want to show the window, cut that out. And then what we want to do is after the user submits the data, so I'll go here to after detail view synchronize, or after list, I'll just go here and filter on synchronize. After synchronize list, I'll go here and paste that code in. So now if we run the component, we don't see the prop grid initially. So I double click on a row. There's my property grid now. I'll go make a change. I'll change this from Bonn to that city over there. Go hit save, hit synchronize. And now you can see that basically the list is saved and the property grid window is closed. So if we go back now, double click on London, go change that to cows, hit the save button, hit the synchronize button, and you can see that basically the data gets updated. So what we've shown in this video is how you can move the property grid for editing the detail view into a panel window that flies out. And you can see that we have a pretty nice list with a detail view with a very few number of controls in the UX Builder. Thanks very much for watching.